Hi, Monica and Tejashwani. So, when is Sandeep and Anusha? Do you have any idea? Okay, Sandeep has joined, and Anusha. Okay, we'll wait for a minute, and then we'll start with our training. And in the meantime, today, as I told, that we are going to start with. We have finished with this static variable. Now we have to do with this static method, static block, and final keyword and the access control. Do you have any problem regarding this program that what I have done, the static variable? Do you remember this program that I have started, that all the instances will share a single memory of this static variable? So whenever you increment with a different object, then it is going to increase, means only that particular memory location it's increasing. So the value will be 1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the static. Let's go to the static methods. We have already seen the static methods. Now, when we declare the static methods, remember, I told you that before the initialization of the object, the static methods or the static variables, they are referred in the memory. They are called before the object creation. So whenever you use a static block or static method, they are already been called or already been initialized in the memory. So when you are using a static method, you do not need the object to call the particular method. You can directly refer to the class name dot the method or dot the variable. So let's check with the static methods. The static methods have different restriction. They have static methods have several restrictions. First is they can only call other static methods. Second point is they must only access static data. Third point is they cannot refer to this. Remember this keyword that we have done to refer the current instance of the class, or super keyword. This keyword I'm going to tell you in when we will study inheritance. This super keyword, just remember that they cannot refer to this keyword or super keyword in any way. Can you tell me that means why this particular you have the idea of this keyword? Why this keyword it cannot refer? Do you have any idea? Anyone?
This refers to the current object. So static method is always created before the object creation.
Okay,
So
correct, correct. Yes. Remember this keyword, this is always related to an object, the current object. It calls the current instance of the class or object. Okay, you can call, means you can call the static method by the object also, but remember that is a very bad coding. You must not call any static method using the object. You can call, but that should not be used as a coding standard. So let's check. Let's check. And remember, whenever you write a static block means you can write like this. This is a block. You can write something, your code here. So whenever static keyword is used, this is called or this is referred or allocated before the object creation. Okay, so let's do a program. Something where were we? Is in the example? Yes, it is in the example. So let's another program. Suppose I write a static int a equal to 3 and static int e. Suppose I'm writing a static method. Static void math is int x. I'm printing something called system dot println. This is out. X equal to plus x. A equal to plus a. And b equal to plus b. Then I'm writing a static block. Static block. Static block. B equal to A public static in Can you tell me what will be the output? Tejashwani, Monica, Sandeep, Anusha. Yeah, Tejashwani, can you tell me the output of this particular value? If I run,
Uh,
what should be the output?
um, I'm seeing, sir.
Yeah.
I think 9, sir.
No, no, the full output with the system. First, which block will be executed?
No idea, sir.
No, see, what I told, okay, whenever static keyword is used, this is referred or allocation is done before the object creation. Okay, I haven't created any object. So whenever I run this, already this first static keyword, this static block will run, and these are already referred. Means whenever I call this, these are already referred because this is a static method or the static block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like this. Now I run this. So the first will be the static block. Whenever I run this, see, I never called this static block, but always it got first like static block got printed, then b equal to a into 39. This is automatically got executed in the memory. Okay,
Okay.
so b is 9, then a was already 3, and whether I passed x is equal to 42. So this is the one. So all of your assignment, I can say that write a program that will print your name without using void main, without using the main method. You can say in Java, though you will get error, though you will get error, but but print print your name. This is your assignment, next assignment with a static block. Because remember, this particular program is whenever you go to any project or something, the seniors do ask this. This is only when you need to do your static block or the static method or something. So Anusha and Sandeep, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay. So let me create another class here. I will show you that I told you that static, okay, the static, remember the static method is referred by the class name directly. So let's check this. Okay, let's create another class called static. demo. Static int a equal to 42, static int b equal to 99, static void call me this out a equal to a. This is my static. Okay. Now from the example, let me call this block. That public static void main I've already written. See, I need to call this particular static demo. So what I will do, this particular method. So what I will do, I can directly call by the class name. See, I do not need to create the means an object of this particular class. Sorry. Okay, there is an error. This is cannot identifier after this token is expected. Why is it asking me the identifier name? Static demo. Okay, where it is? Public static void. No, this is correct. Maybe somewhere I made the mistake. Okay, see, this is not a I haven't written any public static void main. So the main error was, let me write the public static void main string yes. See now is it correct? So this particular, I did not need to create the object of static demo, but if it is a static void, directly I can call that particular static method. Directly I can call this particular method here, the static this. So if I write this example and I'm running this program, so you can see it is printing a is equal to 42. But yes, you can call this by an object, but that is a very bad programming. Means you are referring an object and again you are calling, so double memory allocation will be there. So that is the static. Now have you understood that why this particular static in the void main is used while we are starting with the program? Because whenever you write the main, the JVM understands, okay, this method needs to be invoked first. So whenever you are invoking, see, void you are writing because you remember the return type I have shown you, it can be any data type. When you are writing a void, that means the return type, it does not expect any return type. So whenever we are writing a void main, so in the void, the return type means the compiler or the JVM does not require any particular value that is returned. So we are writing a void. Now why static? Do you remember? So before the object creation of this particular class, like here I have used example, before the object creation of this class, this method can be called by the JVM. That's why we are writing here static. So for public, now why it is public? Here we have written, uh, I think here. Okay. Now we are going to the access control. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a doubt regarding the static block.
yeah, sure, sure.
If we have, if we write multiple static blocks, then is it the static main method called first, or whichever is first in the
See,
code that
let's
will be
check.
called first?
Let's check. Okay, let's
Okay,
check.
okay, okay. Previous code of okay
Yeah,
first
yeah,
add.
that is only what I'm doing.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
check. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the one you are saying. I'm writing a block again.
Yes.
It's not right here. Static block 2, right?
Yeah.
Let's check. See, wherever you are writing the static block, okay, the first static block, because these are two, they are first referred, okay, before the object creation is first referred. Remember, in your memory, it's always, let's go to the pent. In your memory is always a heap is created. A heap means something like this. Whenever you are referring a variable or a memory, something a heap is created in this way. So whenever you are writing the first static, okay, whenever the, remember the execution start from the first. So execution is first static block. When you are writing this particular static block, so it's referred to the first static block here.
What about the static void method?
Okay, static word math. Remember, a math can be always invoked. This particular a method has to be invoked. It cannot call by itself. A
Okay,
block, okay, a block can be called, but whenever you are writing a static method, I told you it has to be invoked. It has been
okay,
already been created. This particular method has already been created. Suppose a static, suppose here also, sorry, this is already been created here for this x and this out and everything. This has already been created, but you need to invoke this, right? A method has to be invoked always. Got it?
yes, sir. Static method is different from static block. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The static block is something it gets executed, but a method has to be invoked.
invoked. Yeah, got it, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the static method can be invoked with the class name directly
Yeah,
because you do not need the object.
yes, sir.
So whenever you create an object and then you do, suppose it's already there, then again for the object creation, again a memory is referred. So why to use or uselessly create two memories? So directly call it by the class name. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
So yeah, it's clear.
yes, sir.
Now we go. Now we go to the access control. See, till now I was using the access control like public everywhere in the methods. So there are four types of access controls. Whenever you declare uh, something public, a class or a method, no, it's constructor, it should not be. This is my mistake. Okay, these are the my mistakes. Okay, whenever you are declaring the public, remember a class or a method or an interface, etc., declared as public can be accessed from any other class. Therefore, fields, methods, blocks declared inside a public class can be accessed from any class belonging to the Java universe. So suppose I'm writing here public. Let's go here. Let's go to this my box program. Okay. Inbox. Suppose I'm writing, see here public, and I'm doing something a double. Remember, this is my Java program. Remember that box that I used to do height, depth, and your width. I have already defined. Now, whenever I'm writing a public, it can be accessed from anywhere in the Java universe. See, this particular volume is your public. Here it is. This is public and double. So I'm running it. It can be accessed. See, this is coming as 6,000. Both are same. So let's make it something 25, 25 maybe. Get the difference. See. Now, remember, whenever we define public, it can be accessed anywhere from the Java universe. But from this particular private, if you are doing it private, see what happens when I write it here private. Let's check. See, it is already giving me an error because whenever you are doing a private method, see, it is written change the visibility volume to package, means public or protected or something. So whenever you are writing a private method, methods, variables that are declared as private can be accessed only within the declared class itself. So this is one kind of your data hiding or data means you can say that you hide it from the outside world. Like this, whenever you are going to use any particular method which is declared as private, it needs to means it needs to be accessed within only particular class box. If you are assigning anything, the method or the variable or anything you are declaring as private, it cannot be accessed outside this class. So I cannot access this particular thing. But if I had written something called something like here the void when, if I had written something here itself, if I had written something called here, then you can see that I could have called this directly the volume method. Result Okay, I need the object. I forgot to mention the object. Let me copy it from here. See, I can access it only from the class where I have defined private. I cannot access this visibility in other classes. So let's run this. Oh, so this is saying me error. Okay. See, so result. See, now it is printing me 6,000 because I have declared the private. Whenever I'm declaring private, I need to declare within the same class. Now, see, there is a default type. Okay. Default type means whenever you are not declaring anything here, this is your, this particular is your default type. It has been said that default access modifier means we do not explicitly declare any access modifier for a class, field, method, etc. So whenever I am declaring like double height or double width or double depth, all these things, and whenever I'm declaring directly like double volume, it's the default access modifier. So a variable or a method declared with any particular this default access modifier is available to any other class in the same package. So this is one of my package example. I will let you know what are the package in the upcoming classes. So let me create another something called project or another package first to where I'm defining a class. Suppose default modifier example. I'm going to write the void main also. So this is my particular void main. Suppose it was a public. I need to make this also public. 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 Then I'm doing it here. And I'm copying this whole stuff here, particular this package. Okay, see, it has already shown me this particular thing need to be there as public. This has to be declared as a public. If I don't declare this all as a public, then I cannot access it from the outside this package. See, it is printing me. Now I'm changing it to this particular method, which is in another. See, this is in package example, this particular box. is in example, and this particular package is in example 2. So let's already we have checked that if we are not declaring the public, I'm just deleting these words. Now these are default modifiers. Let's check. See, I'm already got an error. This has already been shown me. Change the visibility of volume to particular called public. So I cannot access this particular if it is defined the default. If it is not defined anything, it is the default access modifiers. So is it clear with the default access modifier?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in upcoming classes, I will let you know what this particular packages example 2 does now. Okay, now we go to the protected. This I'm going to teach you in next classes what does all this protected means. Like variables, methods, constructors, like sorry, it should be constructors. We have checked. I was correct actually. Anything. Okay. Variables, methods, and constructors which are declared protected in a superclass. What is this superclass? Or can be accessed only by subclasses in other package or any class within the package of this protected members class. Remember, we are going to do a lots of program. Remember, within this particular superclass. So what is the superclass? What is the subclass? Inside only that methods we can use this protected. I will let you know in the upcoming classes, because for this example we need to know what is inheritance and what is the use of this particular called inheritance. Okay, what is left? Okay, this final keyword. This is this is the final keyword. Remember, if you like in a method, means do you remember that a variable, whenever you are doing a variable and you do not want to modify it, or you do not want this content to be modified, you do not want the content to be modified, then you must declare it as final. So final, rather final. Variables declared as final prevents its contents from being modified. And remember, you must initialize a variable when it is declared as final. So this means, let's close this class. Let's delete this. Let's go to my first program. So if I am declaring anything called final, suppose final int equal to 3. Okay, now I'm modifying this a plus plus. See, it is not allowing me. There is an error. The local variable cannot be assigned. It must be blank using a compound statement. It is not allowing me see, or remove the final modifier. Whenever I am using this final, I cannot see. Whenever I am removing this final, it is letting me to modify this. But whenever I am doing it in final this, it is always giving me an error. Remove final modifier. So whenever I have used a final modifier, you cannot at any time you cannot change this content of this variable. It will be always particular thing is 3. So sometimes something, suppose another thing what I have said here, you must initialize a variable when it is declared as final. So let's see. If I write it here, something called this, and then I am doing it a plus plus or something a plus plus a. Tell me why I said that always you must declare this particular final variable, initialize it. Otherwise, it's going to take the default value, which is your no use. Even you cannot modify. It has already taken the default value of a, that is 0. So you cannot modify any longer. So it's always better that you must initialize this particular variable. Tell me, uh, tell me some of the situations where we can declare final. Tell me an example why this final is used. Can anybody?
If the default value is must.
Must not. Okay, you are saying like suppose we declare a constant like 2 pi r pi, the pi value. Okay, suppose
Yes.
suppose a constant, and you are going to use this 3.14. Okay, suppose you are going to use this particular pi value. So this has to be declared as final. So nobody can change the constant value of pi. So you
Yeah.
can use it.
Okay.
Anusa, Tejashwani, and Sandeep, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is the one final. Now let's do one more thing. Uh, Inner classes. Okay. And inner classes is something which I will tell, that a class defined inside a class is called an means inner class. There is difference between the nested class and an inner class. Okay. Sorry, I told you the wrong, that is inner class. A class within another class is called a nested class.
So
Nested
can you
class.
repeat it?
Yeah. I'm just writing it here. A
Okay.
class defined within another class is called the nested class. This is your nested class. So suppose, okay, the suppose if class B is defined within class A, then remember B does not exist independently of A. So a nested class has the access to these particular members, including private members of the class in which it is nested. Suppose A is nest, sorry, B, B is the outer class and A is the, and sorry, A is the outer class and B is the nested class. Remember, B can access,
A value, A property.
yes, Yeah, A properties. Correct. This can be your private members. Even private members can be called because it's inside this particular class. Private members or something called mm, your other member variables. But remember,
A cannot access
enclose,
B.
yes, correct. A cannot access B, the
Okay.
properties of B. Okay, this is the particular called your nested class. You know, there can be two type of nested class. Okay, the two type of nested class can be two types of nested class. One is static and the other is one is static, okay, and second is non-static. You can understood that a static nested class, okay, a static nested class is one that has the static modifier. You have understood that static will have the static modifier as applied. Okay, so it must access the members of its enclosing class through an object. So suppose what I've written, can you explain me what I've written static and it must access the members of its class through an object. Why I've written this?
Okay, the static one, like we need to access, we can access only through an object.
Okay, so why? Because static methods means whenever we are doing a static something class, then I'm using through an object. Okay,
Hmm.
so why I'm using this? See, the static modifier is your class, but it's bus your static nested class, that is your B class,
Mhm.
is used with the static modifier applied. But A is not static. So
Yeah.
to access the members of A, you of its enclosing class, you need an object. So
Okay.
remember, this is a pen. Do you remember I was showing that already? And if you are declaring a static, it is called first. Then again, this is suppose a static method of the class nested that is B. Now this is a static method. Now I have three objects, means it can create a three objects or two objects of class A. These are class A, class A. So these are non-static. So every time in a static block, you need to create a memory or need to create a means a memory, not uh, the object, which in turns refer to the memories. So inside a static, I'm creating an object to refer the class A. Okay, so this is a very bad use of calling inside a class, means inside a static class, we are calling an object of A. This is a very bad use. So we seldomly use this particularly, or we never use static nested class because already we are defining a static and your A class is non-static. We need to create an object. So many times we are referring to the memory. It will slow down the class. So we seldom, not never, we seldom use. Yes, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, we seldom use the static nested class. Remember, if it is a non-static, now non-static, you have understood that non-static class means class B is your non-static. So if you refer an object, so nothing is initialized before. Okay, directly it's not holding any memory before your object is created. So whenever you are using your B is your non-static, sorry, it's non-static. So before object creation, no memory is allocated. So whenever you create an object, okay, then only the memory is created, then only you can refer. So it's the best way to do it. It's called something, your execution of the programs will be faster because you do not refer like a static already. It's already holding a memory. If you are declaring it a static, from that memory, again, you are creating sub memories, like sub memories, the other memories, if it was means as class A was non-static. Now, if both are your non-static, B and your A, both are non-static, so nothing, no memory is held till you create your program, create your means object. Whenever you create an object of B, then it can refer to your particular A object, and no previously allocated memory is there in your JVM. So it's a faster using of this particular non-static classes. And non-static classes are called inner classes. So what is the difference between a nested class and an inner class? Anybody?
Inner class is a created inside a class, but we can call it through objects.
And what is nested class?
Nested class, that is created inside the class A, but we need not to create any objects for that to call it.
No, you are wrong. Nested class is the superset.
Yeah, okay.
Is the superset. Okay, it has static and non-static classes. And
I
non-static
think they
classes
are
is
called static.
no. It's wrong. Nested class is your superset. It contains static and non-static classes. And
Okay.
non-static, in these are two of them, and non-static classes is your called inner class. Remember, an inner class is a nested class, but a nested class may not be your
Nested class
inner
is not
class.
an-
Yeah, correct.
Got it.
Okay, so nested class is your superclass that has static and non-static, and only the non-static part. See, there are two. Only the non-static part is your called inner class. So let's do a particular program to show you what is a static means inner classes. I'm creating any other something called class outer and inner. Outer. Int outer x equal to 100 test